welcome back to the channel. If you saw the last video, you'd know that this is the second in a two-part series about IAM Roadsmart's Masters program. If you haven't seen the previous video, I'll put a link in the description below. It might be worth you watching that first, because in the first part I'll tell you exactly what Masters is all about, how it works, and what the examiners are looking for on test. And in this video I'm going to give you a demonstration ride at Masters level. And to be clear, the idea of that isn't to show off and say, oh look at me, look how good I am. That's not what it's about. It's actually to dispel quite a few of the myths about Masters and what it's about, and to show you that actually Masters Standards is achievable with practice and hard work, and with the support of your mentor. You will be allocated a Masters mentor as part of your training program, and they will help you to achieve the best standard you can possibly get to. And then all you need to do is demonstrate that on test at the end. So as I said before, the test itself is 90 minutes long. It's going to be carried out by an area service delivery manager, an ASDM from the IAM. And let's be clear, they know their stuff, the ASDMs. They'll be ex-police, some of them like me will be ex-driving school, ex-police driving school. They know what they're looking for. And what they're looking for is a really good advanced level ride that's consistently good all the way around, with extra emphasis on things like progress and cornering and overtaking. So the test will be carried out on roads not like this road actually. This was just convenient for a bit of an introduction. You'll not be on single track roads like this for very long, if at all, on your Masters test. But they're going to take you on roads where you can demonstrate those skills. So I'm going to give you a demonstration ride, Masters level, try and achieve the best standard that I can do on this ride. I'm not going to do the full 90-minute test, we'll do about half an hour, 20-25 minutes, half an hour, something like that. A couple of caveats though, I'm on a brand new bike. It's only done 400 miles this bike, and it's still being running, so I can't get a top end of the rev range, but you wouldn't need to anyway. And it's early February, so the roads are a little bit greasy and a little bit slimy today. So some of the cornering speeds might be lower than they would be during the summer on a dry day up here. But let's start the demo ride now. Obviously I'd turn up at the test venue with a bike that's fully checked over, done all my checks, got enough fuel for the journey, all that kind of stuff, have a chat with the examiner, and we'd head off out. And they are looking for good consistent application of all the principles of advanced riding. And on this road, this is the Hartside Pass, that starts with a good demonstration of the principles of good cornering, which are correct position on approach, correct speed for the corner, correct gear for that speed, and application of the safe stopping rule, which is we've always got to be able to stop on our own side of the road in the distance we can see to be clear. So my eyes are up constantly, all the time, looking where I want to go, seeking out the limit point, getting the right position on approach. The risk you take with some of these corners is if you turn in too early on these right-handers, they are blind. It's very easy to put yourself in conflict with other road users if you do that. So it is acceptable to cross the white line at times where it's safe and you've got the view, but for some of these right-handers, definitely not like this one. And that's why vehicles suddenly come into view. So I'm making best use of position on approach to corners. And the other really important principle of good cornering is to have some gas applied, a bit of throttle applied. Now I've got the riding mode wound down in rain mode today, and that gives me a softer throttle response and make sure all the safety features are switched on. But on a drier day I might have it in more dynamic mode, and I might be using higher revs. But all the time I'm looking well in the distance. We can take the top off that one there. You can see the white salt leaching to the top of the road. But the road's drying quite nicely now, isn't it? So, position on approach to these right-handers is near side, and I'm holding a near side position longer than you do normally. Looking through the bend, there's nothing coming. Keeping third gear here, which is quite low revs, but again, for the reasons I've stated before, on a drier day would be in second there. Looking through the bend, accelerating smartly away. I'm positioning near side to extend my view through the corner, and I can see the road continuing to bend off to the right. We've got snow poles up in the distance. Checking the mirrors regularly, there's nothing behind us at the moment. And the lines, the centre lines there, go from centre lines to hazard lines. Near side position, no view through this corner. So I'm rolling off the gas. I've not used brakes, I've rolled off the gas to lose speed and then knocked it down a couple of gears. But the speed phase still comes before the gear phase. That's the important thing. I'm not using the gears to slow the bike down. I'm using deceleration or acceleration sense, if you like, to slow the bike, and then taking the gear that I need, keeping a bit of consistent acceleration on through the bends. Oh, it's opening up to be a nice day today. So, warning sign up ahead, accompanied horses and ponies. So either a bridle path or a riding stable somewhere near. I can see a finger post, that's probably the bridle path. Keeping a near side position on approach. Just down one gear, and then a little bit of positive acceleration, just to maintain some rearward weight transfer through the corners, maximise the grip from both tyres. An old MG there. Loads of warning signs for this bend, so I'm positioning near side, looking at the limit point. It's not moving, it's coming closer. So speed off, then gears, 2 gears down, and then a little bit of balanced acceleration through the corner. I'm looking across my shoulders, one towards us in the distance. So I'll keep it this side of the white line on the exit from this left-hander. Looking up in the distance now, I can see a finger post sign, so there's a junction, and I can see chevron boards to the right indicating a sharp deviation, and I can also see marker posts and snow poles. So there's the junction off to the left. I'm positioning away from that. I'm going to keep third gear through this right-hander, just using the uphill and deceleration to get my speed right, and then rolling the gas on gently again. We're looking through the bend now. The limit point has gone here. Rolling the bike in. I'm not tipping it in vigorously again, because you know what, we're high up. It's 3 degrees centigrade. Could be colder on the road surface. So roll into these bends rather than tipping it in. Eyes up and through. I'm going all the way off to the left there, and I can see that car going from left to right. Down one gear, roll the bike into the corner, and because I've got that long extended view, we can use the full width of the road here. Where you've got a limited view on approach to corners, the IAM will definitely want you to stay to the left of the white centre line, but here we're not coming into conflict with anybody. We're maximising the stability of the bike, keeping it more upright by using the full width of the road. So from this position here, I'm going to roll the bike in, and then looking in the distance. I know there's a hairpin bend, a hairpin right coming up, because I can see that car going from left to right in the distance. So we can take the top off this one, and there's the road going up to the right, and here's the hairpin bend. So we're off the gas, touch of brakes, down to second gear, looking through the bend, and rolling a little bit of gas on just to keep it stable. Again, it'll be a bit quicker through there on a dry, warm day, but it's neither of those things today. Right, then don't give us a nod, it's up to you. So an offside position on approach to this left-hander, looking through the bend. There's a car park on the right, a couple of cyclists who may well be turning into that car park. Go on, what you do? Give us a clue then. I don't normally shout at cyclists, but come on. I've even given you a horn warning and you sat there wondering what to do. So in the distance I can see one car coming up towards us, a light coloured car. I'm in towards the near side of this right-hander, but again I've got a view all the way through, so I can take a bit off this, maybe not fully offside, but I can take a bit off just to maintain stability towards the centre line. But I'm not crossing the centre line here because I haven't got a view, and that's why. Now we're going in towards the near side for this right-hander. Not too close. You can see we've still got some standing water and ice on the near side where we've got puddles, so I'm going to be avoiding those very carefully. And off into the distance I can see brake lights on a pickup truck, a covered pickup truck going away from us. Here I can see all the way through this bend, so again maximising stability, making best use of the camber of the road surface as well. We're going to go offside there. Checking the mirrors, nobody behind. Straighten this one now. So we're dropping down again. It's likely that temperature is going to increase. The road surface is still a bit damp. Positioning near side here, but again I've got a good view through this corner. I can take a little bit off it and then keep a centre line position on approach to this left-hander. Looking through the left-hander, got double white lines. We're not allowed to cross straddle or park alongside those double white lines. And your examiner on a Masters will be watching you very carefully with double white line systems. Do not clip them if that line closest to you is solid. Throwback arrows again for another double white line system. So, positioning into the near side now for this right hander, just checking out the parked car, making sure there's nobody with a dog or anything like that getting out of it. Towards the centre line here, I'm going to go down one gear and roll the gas on gently. Just a little bit more of a flexible gear. Again, in summer conditions on a bike that's running properly, I might be another gear lower there, but today, for the reasons I've already given, we'll keep it in fourth. Out towards the centre line, off the gas, the limit point's moving and I'm rolling on the gas again. Your examiner will be looking very carefully for you to be on the gas to some degree. Whether that means you come out of the corner 1 mile an hour faster or 20 miles an hour faster than you entered it, doesn't really matter. But a bit of positive acceleration on that gas is really important. So up ahead, brake lights, that's the covered pickup truck we saw before. Got what looks like something high-vis in the distance. It's just some kind of road sign or something, can't make it out at the moment. But the road's dropping off down to the right and I can just see a finger post sign there indicating a junction off to the right, so I'll be aware of that on approach and I'm going to position near side to extend my view. There's the junction itself. I'm off the gas, I'm down one gear, I'm keeping well away from anything wet on the near side because it's likely still to be frozen. And then back up to 6th gear again. So up ahead now we've got a right hand bend. I've got a red car approaching, that's looking through the bend there. So I'm not going to cut this bend. Keeping near side on approach. I'm not tipping it in any further than position 2 to keep me out of conflict from those oncoming vehicles. Up ahead we're dropping further down into the valley. I can see over there there's a bit of a built up area and that's the direction the road's going, so I'm anticipating that there's likely to be a drop in the speed limits, probably to a 30. Of course I know this road really well and I know we're dropping down to Alston, but you'll be doing your test on roads that you're not familiar with, so pick these clues up. If you can spot the areas where there's going to be those speed limits before you get to them, you're not caught out by surprise and you don't end up really anchoring on the brakes. Now we're looking to maximise progress on a Masters test, so where there is a reduction in speed limit I'm going to keep my pace up a little bit longer and then I'm going to brake into that speed limit, so I'm just at the speed limit as we enter it, and that's as opposed to rolling off the gas and gently slowing the speed down. If I want to maximise progress I'll keep the gas on and then brake into the speed limit area. So up ahead, it wasn't a covered pickup truck, it was a Land Rover Discovery. So up ahead, signs there, bend to the left and accompanied horses and ponies. So I'm positioning offside, braking it down 2 gears to 4th, gently roll the gas on and then pick the pace up out of the corner. See the house on the left, there is one car towards us that's just gone out of view in the distance and I can see there is a change in speed limit. I can see a speed limit sign down there as anticipated. So I'm checking the mirrors now, there's nothing behind us. There is a warning sign for a staggered junction, first one to the right. This Discovery driver really likes his brake pedal. And actually we're already down to 40 now before we even get to the signs, so we'll put it down into fourth, which will hold us at that speed a little bit better. We're going to ride into the village of Alston, so there will be some built up areas on your master's test. It's important that you deal with those correctly. Couple of vehicles in front turning to the junction to my left. I'm looking for anything emerging from that junction, and we're braking down to 30, taking third gear. And the road ahead is going round to the left, so I'm looking for all those hazards associated with a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. Pedestrians, cyclists, children, people pulling out the filling station without looking, so I'm taking a position up towards the centre line, away from these kids and away from the entrance to that garage forecourt. Now the road's going round to the right, so I'm just positioning near side a little bit, rolling off the gas. And yeah, we can slip through here, down in second gear, and I'm going to go right at the next junction. So I'm checking my mirrors, putting a signal on for information, getting my position correct, getting my speed right on the brakes, getting gear, first gear, right shoulder check, and then turning gently, keeping an eye on the car on the left and the brake lights that have just gone off. Smoothly up into second gear. I'm just going to hold second through here. Might be a 30 limit, but that wouldn't be appropriate here. Got cobbled street coming up. Be careful on the bike on cobbles. They can be slippier than tarmac. Up ahead we have priority, but that car's already committed to the gap. So once that's come through, I'm just positioning myself out so people can see me here, moving away from this parked vehicle on the left, and I'm going to go left, so I'm giving a left signal. Got the bike following me. And another GS that's tagged onto us here, so gently up to third gear, 30 miles an hour. Got a wingman. So checking the mirrors carefully, still in a 30 limit. We're maintaining this 30 up until the national speed limit signs. And up ahead, the road's going very straight, and you can see, if you look carefully, you can see the centre lines changing to hazard lines for that crest in the road. I'm looking around me, checking the mirrors, an oncoming vehicle up ahead. Maintaining 30 bang on up until we get to the national speed limit signs. It's really important that on your master's test. So I don't know what his intention is behind me, but I'm just riding consistently. Got a parked car on the near side here, so I'm checking the mirrors, just moving away from it a little bit, bearing in mind the oncoming vehicles. I'm maintaining 60. So again, I'm going to position out for these pedestrians here early. There's one here, and there's one in the distance there, so I'm keeping that centre line position. The junction on the left, I'm looking into that, and that centre line position sort of deters any ideas that the rider behind might have about possibly overtaking me just while we're passing those pedestrians. I've no objections to being overtaken, but I can control the situation if we've got pedestrians like that. So up ahead now, we've got hazard lines, throwback arrows, double white lines. The near side position here, extend my view into the distance, and the road's bending round to the right, and I can see double white lines in the distance. Looks like our friend behind has settled in to follow on and have a free lesson. So near side position, I've got the driveway on the left, but there's nothing there. So near side position, a couple of warning signs, a double bends and a junction to the left. So maintaining some pace up until the 40s and then braking the speed down. And maintaining 40. That's how I want you to progress into these lower speed limit areas. There's a junction on the right coming up, according to the warning sign. So we're scanning into that junction, we're looking for anything that might join our road or cause an issue for us. There's a route confirmation sign. I'm looking down through this series of bends here, double white lines. Got a car coming down from the left. I don't think that's our road, so there is a car approaching a junction from our left here, just about where that chevron board is. It's coming into view any second. There it is. Stay there. Down into third, rolling into this right-hander. See those long forward observations? We can spot those things nice and early, can't we? And be prepared for them. So up in the distance there is another kind of junction. We're still in the 40 limit. There's a repeater. This bike has a speed limit indicator on it linked to an app on my phone. It's telling me it's a 60 here. That's because it used to be. Not anymore. It's down to a 40. So use your own observations. Don't you know, this technology is good, but don't always rely on it. Still a 40 limit. Nice new tarmac. Just position 2 here. Not a lot to talk about here really, is there? But there's some kind of caravan park on the right. Checking the mirrors. Our friend behind is still following along. So again, just moving my position out towards the centre line here just to extend the view. Still a 40 limit. Repeater sign there. I'm going to ease off the gas here. Use deceleration to slow me down a little bit. Take third gear. And we could take a little bit off that right-hander there. And then checking behind. And accelerating smartly up to the national speed limit, which on this road is 60 miles an hour. I'm going to take a position up towards the centre line now. Gently tip the bike in. And another change in speed limit, down to a 30. So a little bit of brakes, put it down to 30. Checking the mirrors. So again, these built up areas, these are where all the hazards are to us. These are where things can suddenly emerge in front of you. Checking the mirrors. I say built up area, look where we are. We're right up in the North Pennines. It's not exactly central Manchester, is it? But we will stick rigidly to this 30 limit. Actually, it's not always appropriate to do 30, is it? So bear that in mind on your masters. They're looking for a good balance between progress, yes, but restraint as well. Knowing when you can go, knowing when you shouldn't go is very important. So looking up ahead now, see some buildings up on the hill. The road's bending round to the left. This position gives me a better view around the corner. We've got some Belisha beacons, named after the Minister of Transport in 1936, I think. And zebra crossings were introduced. Finger post sign indicating the junction to the left. I can see the road going off to the right, and I'm looking off to the right. Carrying on towards Stanhope, another 30 repeater. Positioning out towards the centre line. Just away from the centre line there where we've got oncoming vehicles. What your examiners don't want to see is you putting yourself into conflict with oncoming vehicles. So there is a steep ascent ahead, 15 degrees. Positioning near side. Keeping the gas on through the corner. I'm actually using cruise control here to maintain 30 miles an hour. There it is, there's a change in speed limit. So smartly up, back in again to the national speed limit. Keep away from that water on the near side, because it's still frozen. Up ahead now, let's see what we've got. Snow poles continuing up to the crest in the road. The back of a warning sign there. Rolling back on the gas again. Remember, you're still going to be able to stop at the distance you can see to be clear. And as you come up these crests, they have a vertical limit point. There's a cyclist up ahead in stealth black. Come on, cyclists. A little bit of colour helps us out, you know. The SAS wear black for urban camouflage. Because even on a bright sunny day, you blend into the background. Ah, look at that road winding away from us down there in the distance. That's lovely. Love that view. Take a little bit off the offside here. Getting all the way down the valley. See if there's anything hazardous to us. But then we've got a left-hander here. So I'm positioning centre line. Brakes, down a gear, roll it in. I'm going to maintain 4th gear here just to hold us at the speed I want to be at. Extending my view into the far distance. The road is winding and winding its way through this valley. Just clicking up into 5th now. Okay, well, I wasn't making a video for YouTube. I'll probably come with you. But the difficulty with making this stuff, and actually, do you know what? I'm doing a demonstration ride on off a Masters. We can't touch the speed limit. And yes, of course, I'd always be doing 60 down here, even if the cameras are off. Absolutely. Why would I not be? Cyclist towards us. Take a little bit off the offside here. I'm going to keep away from that parked car on the near side. I'm going to position near side. I'm going to roll a little bit of gas on just to maintain speed and pace through this corner. It's not really to increase the speed, because we're up near the speed limit anyway. Extending my view into the distance. Avoiding dead animals in the road is important. You might think it's soft and squashy, it's a dead animal, but it's got bones in it. Rare occasions I've seen them puncture a tyre. It's always best to avoid them. Up ahead the road is turning to the right, and then in the far distance it's going round to the left around that hillside. The bike who's overtaken me is caught up with a slow moving car. So it might be something that we'll have to deal with. What I'm concentrated on here is just getting my position right on approach to these corners, getting my speed right with acceleration sense, and then maintaining a little bit of positive gas through the corners. I'm out towards the centre line here now. I'm moving back away from the centre line because of the oncoming car. Rolling the gas on again. I suppose the beauty of this GS is I'm in the running in period, leave it in 6th gear, rolling nicely along these roads. So coming into a township, could be a change in speed limit here. Keeping away from the ice on the near side, but I haven't seen a change in speed limit yet. It doesn't mean that national speed limit 60 is safe through here. I'll certainly take a bit of pace off, and then we're going to break it down for the right hander. Down 2 gears just as we roll, just before we roll the bike in, and now we've got another route confirmation sign. Slow moving car in front now. What we're going to do about it? As this guy decided just to follow it, he followed me for a long time before he even thought about the overtake. I'm starting to think about it now. I'm looking off to the right, not really any opportunities. There's a couple of pedestrians down there near those wheelie bins, one with a red jacket. I'm few bits of dead ground along this section of road here. Areas where I don't have a view. So there, definitely not safe to overtake. Oh dear, he got splashed. Now I can see a 30 limit up there. I don't know if it's for us or not. It's not, it's for the road off to the right. I've got to give way and we're going to turn right. So I'm checking the mirrors, putting on a signal. On the speed phase on the brakes. Down to first gear. Their position blocks anything coming from the left, which is good. Now, come on fella, don't hold me up. You're doing faffing about. If you want to faff with something on your handlebars, pull over and do it. So into the 30 limit, looking around us. Got one vehicle coming towards us from the right there, just the other side of what looks like a bridge. Yeah. Oh, I was listening to me, that's good. There's the change to the national speed limit, checking the mirrors. Let's get smartly away. So, I'm going to use that rider as an example. I'm not saying he was a bad rider, I'm not going to get critical of somebody else, but one of the mistakes people make on masters is they get in a following position and after a few miles they go to sleep. They start to think, oh, there's no opportunity to overtake coming up here. So instead of maintaining a good, solid, consistent following position behind a slow moving vehicle, what they do is they drop back to 4, 5, 6 seconds, and then when an opportunity does present itself, an opportunity to overtake, they miss it. And they miss it because they've just mentally gone to sleep a little bit. Not gone to sleep, I suppose that's not a fair description of what they do, but they just fall back. So we picked a road and an area and a time of day today where we're not coming up behind many slow moving vehicles, so there's not going to be many overtakes to demonstrate. But when you do come up behind a slow moving vehicle, the overtake is all in the preparation. 99.9% of the overtake is preparing for the overtake, thinking where it might be, looking for the opportunity. When it presents itself, it should be easy. It should be a move offside and then a wind on the gas. We should be already prepared, already in the right gear. With that right level of flexibility. But overtaking is a mentality, it's a frame of mind you need to get yourself into. And you need to stay in that frame of mind for the whole of the test. You should have, as a colleague of mine in the police once described it to me, you should have a burning desire to overtake any slow moving vehicle in front of you. Obviously, you know, within the legal parameters, speed limits, all that kind of stuff. Quite a few bikes out today, early February. Morning, chaps. So, if you come up behind a slow moving vehicle on your master's test, follow it, but keep and maintain a really good, solid following position. Very important, that. That shows that you are riding progressively, that you're looking for the opportunity, and when it does present itself, then it'll be easy. It's like a gift wrapped overtake. Sit in the right position, in the right gear, look in the right place, and you'll get the overtake. Absolutely no doubt about it. Remember, just the same as the advanced test, you don't have to get an overtake to pass your masters. It's got to be right but those examiners will give you every opportunity. They'll take you on roads where there will be plenty of opportunity for overtaking. A little tip for your test is, you know, don't worry about the examiner. If it's on for you, it's on. Ride your own ride. Come on, it's not the oncoming vehicles they're bothered about, it's what's happening from behind. Yeah, ride your own ride. The examiners want to see you enjoying the ride, and if you come up behind something, the overtake's on, and under normal circumstances you would take it, don't change anything for that test. So I'm going to do a right in a second. This is England's highest road, would you believe? Not here, it's not. It will be in a minute. So for the rest of this demonstration ride, let's go over this road from St John's Chapel back generally towards Middleton in Teesdale. Highest road in England, sits over 2,000 feet I think at the top. This little bit of single track. Remember the principle with single track roads, should be able to stop in twice the distance you can see. That's because you need to take into account, sorry, half the distance you can see. I get that wrong every time. You've got to be able to stop in half the distance you can see, because you've got to take into account the braking distance, stopping distance of anything coming towards you on a single track road. Now I'm extending my view into the distance. Look up the hill there. Look how high this goes, right up over the top of the hill. But in the mid-ground we've got a big area of dead ground, and it starts with this right-hander here, so I'm positioning near side, braking, down one gear, and then rolling on the gas. Some people in the road here. I'm keeping third gear here now for flexibility on this uphill stretch. And I know the road goes round to the right in a second, so I'm positioning near side, looking through the bend, not crossing this white line until I've got the view, and accelerating smartly up the hill. So, just taking a centre line position over the cattle grid, and up ahead. I've already had an early view. I know at the top of this hill the road goes left and then right and then continues climbing. There's some water in the road because of the height. There could still be some ice in there. So I'm picking a very careful line through anything on the road surface that looks wet. There you can see the left-hander and the right-hander. And actually, you can see the further right-hander after that because there's snow poles at the top of the road up there. On approach here, I'm looking to see if I can see any oncoming vehicles. I can't see anything, but I'm keeping myself near to the centre line, rolling off the gas, down one gear, and then rolling back on the gas for stability through the corner. Same with this one, near side position, looking through the bend. I can take a bit off this one, rolling on the gas, looking up towards the snow poles, going around to the left. So we're approaching the summit now. Just easing off the gas. Road's going round to the right. Got a cattle grid at the top here. Have a look at the view off the top of here. Stand up and give you the view. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Sorry, I'm supposed to be giving you a demo ride. Okay, so I think that'll do for now. That's about half the length of a master's test. And if I was marking that, I'd sort of put it at ones in every area. Difficulty with digital speedos, you might see me 1 or 2 miles an hour over occasionally. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm speeding. Speedos tend to overread a little bit. But I haven't missed a speed limit. But at the same time, hopefully you could see that the ride flowed really nicely. It was consistently good throughout. But more important than anything else, I want you to see that it's achievable. I want you to watch this video and think, well, I could do that. It's not that difficult. Now bear in mind, you know, the better people are at stuff, the easier it can look. So you watch somebody doing something, they might be an expert and it looks really easy. Hey, you're still smiling? It's not that easy to maintain a consistent pace, especially on test. You've got somebody behind you putting you under pressure. I'll tell you what I will do. You do need to renew your master's test, and I think it's every 5 years. Mine isn't due up yet, but when it is, I'll speak to the ASDM and I'll look to see if we can film my master's test, and I'll put it on YouTube, warts and all. But I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into what IAM Roadsmart Masters program is all about. That was the key, was to show you that it's achievable, but that you need to work at it. And it's all about the consistency, as well as the pace and the smoothness and the flow of the ride. That's what's important. As I did in the last video, I'll put a link in the description below to IAM Roadsmart's webpage about Masters. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed the video. Give us a subscribe. Subscriptions are going up on the channel, getting towards 15,000 now, so thanks to everybody who's already subscribed. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button, it helps the channel. And go and have a look at the website as well, ragelocal.com, loads more information there about advanced and performance driving and riding, information about the books that I've written, and about how you can get hold of a copy, and how you can get a day's driver or rider coach with me if you fancy it. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.